This is the third part of our video sequence on field view of Indian society. In this, we have already covered the nature of field view, and in the second video, we have covered the aim and importance of field view. And now, in the third video, we are going to discuss the characteristics of field view. So, the question in front of us is, what are the significant characteristics of field view? The first and the most important is objectivity. A good field view is one which takes care of the fact of the need to be objective. What is the meaning of the word objective? Objective means to be free of biases, not to have any kind of predisposed idea about the people and the area which we are going to study. So, in order to be objective, one has to keep one's past experiences and opinions about the people and about that area in which the study is going to be conducted. And once you keep aside your predisposed ideas, then you go to the field, you enter the field with a fresh mind and try to look at the reality in the field as it is. Uh, and try to describe it in the most truthful, near to truth manner. This is the spirit of objectivity, and objectivity has to be, the spirit of objectivity has to be upheld in the interest of science, scientific study. This is the first characteristic of field view. Let's move on to the next one, which is the direct observation. Now, what does direct observation mean? Direct observation means that we don't have to look at the field through the colored opinion of um, in our mind, which might be coming from the books that we have read, the reports that we have read, the seminars and conference discussions that we have heard about a particular people, about the field. So, if I'm going to study a particular people, I might have read a few books, a few articles, a few newspaper items, something. There might be some opinions, some color in my brain. I have to I have to make sure that I'm not relying on all this. Once I enter the field, I have to rely on my direct, which means my sense organs. Uh, we have to directly observe what is the reality of the field. And the reality of the field is most of the time very different from what we have heard of from various sources. So it's very important that you use your sense organs and uh, and also you don't uh, rely on the rumors and other things. Let's move on to the next characteristic, which is causal. Um, Causal means that the understanding of the phenomena which are taking place, the phenomena which are taking place in the field by cause effect establishing a connection between the cause and effect. What is happening? Why it has happened? What is the cause behind what has happened? And what will be the effect? So, the cause effect relationship between phenomena is a part of scientific understanding. So these relationships have to be established during the conduct of the field work. Let's move on to the next point. Next characteristic of field view is that it is based on primary sources. As we know, there are two sources of collecting information. First is the primary sources, and second is the secondary sources. Secondary sources are what I have already described, someone else's study done, um, newspaper reports, books, magazine articles. All these are secondary sources, which means that I know I'm learning about the field not directly but through some other instrument of learning. But as opposed to this, the primary sources are observation, which means directly going to the field and observing, interview, which means talking to the people and trying to understand their point of view, questioning them on the spot, and trying to understand the reality in depth. Then, schedule, which means going to the field with a particular set of questions and administering those questions um, to the respondents and noting down their responses. Another primary source is questionnaire, which is like posting a list of questions to someone and receiving their answers by post. And then survey, which is actually the real head counting of people. So these are the methods which I've just now enumerated: observation, interview, schedule, questionnaire, and survey. These are the primary sources through which original data is collected from the field. And that is one of the important characteristics of field view. Another characteristic of field view is the validation and re-verification. What happens in the field view is that the researcher goes to the field and tries to validate the already existing data. There might be some standing facts which are a part of the commonsensical or everyday understanding of that field and people who are living in that field. Now, it is a scientific procedure that all this pre-existing um, scientific facts need to be verified and validated. So you go to the field and again check whether whatever is the existing understanding, is it real, or is it has it changed, or is there some kind of change or compromise or anything. So that has to be re-verified. Um, this is the process of validation, and once you realize that it is the same, if the results come that there is no change in the status, then you say that the data is valid. This is the process of validation. And last but not the least is the last characteristic of field view is the reliability. This is the most significant, in fact, the most significant characteristic of field view, because finally, after all the whole exercise of the conduct of field view and of all these procedures is um, the reliability. That whatever is being said about the field is authentic, it is reliable, and it is an information on which some concrete action can be taken. Um, so during the field view, the researcher attempts to check the reliability of the already existing or the collected data.